I mean, who cares what Keith has to think? I mean, but it's worth it to at least share it a bit. You know what I mean? So hear me out. Hocus Pocus, I liked it. I at first I didn't like it, and then I was like, oh, this is starting to grow on me, and then I was like, oh, this is starting to grow on me in the way that it sucks, but it's still. And then I started to like it again. So at the end of it, it was a good story. It had its moments. It had enough quirkiness to not be, too standard, but also not too corny. I enjoyed it for the most part. There are some underlying things that I thought should be brought to attention. One of those things being how Hollywood has this way of sort of softening really evil things and like putting a really pretty package on really terrible things, and sort of getting the public used to these really terrible things by putting them in movies and giving them a sad story and then putting nice pretty music behind it, and then having the strings go in the background and the whole entourage of Hollywood. That's why Hollywood is so successful in schmamming the smashes, because of things like this, because they'll take a really hideous event or a really hideous truth, and they'll give it a nice story, give it the best director, give it the best actors and actresses, and give it the best composers for a nice musical score, and they just make it, and they just hit you in the feels, and it's brilliant. I watch these things and I go, this is brilliant. I see what you guys are doing, and my hat is off to you, because I'm thoroughly enjoying this movie right now. Though it's really normalizing some really demonic things, and I'm still into it. My hat's off to you guys. And so here's from the beginning. The first scene, I knew exactly what they were going to do. Was a spoiler alert for the new Hocus Pocus. It's the three little girls, the Sanderson sisters, and it shows the story, right? It's the classic, at least the past, our generation, millennial generation, where it sort of demonizes masculinity and the patriarchy, not without just reason. And so it shows how this overly bearing patriarchal society crushes women, as it has. But this is where they twist it. This is where they interject. The best lie has the most truth you can possibly give in it, right? And always know that with the lies, a really good lie has the most possible truth you can give without ruining the lie. And so, of course, Big Red has to marry some dude. She's like, no, I'm not about it. You're a witch. So she goes into the woods and meets the actual witch, and the witch wants to eat their souls. And so I'm going, okay, I see what they're doing. They're justifying the three witches that eat the souls of children. Now think about how much has been going on recently with airplanes and people who are on airplanes that fly to islands where things happen on airplanes, on islands. You know what I'm saying. If you don't, get hip with it. There's just been a lot going on with how our youngins are treated in very demonic ways in the real world. Right? So Hocus Pocus sort of does the same thing. It shows how children's souls are being consumed by demons, by witches. But in the movie, we sympathize with the witches because, she was forced to marry someone she didn't want, and they were gonna, the patriarchy was doing the patriarchy thing, as it was. But does that justify eating souls? I don't know, because at the end of Hocus Pocus, a spoiler alert again, as you guys know if you've watched it, the sisters disappear, so Big Red wants ultimate power, but she has to have the ultimate sacrifice, and she does know the ultimate sacrifice is family, the love for her sisters. And so her sisters disappear, and she goes, oh my god, what have I done? And she says, can you cast a spell to reverse it? And the little girl goes, of course, I'm going to cast a spell. And she goes, did it work? And the little girl goes, well, the spell doesn't actually bring your sisters back to you, it takes you to your sisters. And so she goes, She's like, oh, good one, you got me, you won, but I'm gonna be with my sisters, whatever. Oh, love, there's nothing like the love of family and being with the ones you love. And so we have this like soft spot for the sisters. And it starts off with a soft spot for the sisters because basically she was saying it's not their fault that they went evil. And then we have a soft spot for the sisters at the end, saying the same thing. Oh, well, she's got love for her sisters. It's all good. It's all gravy. Like, ah. So it starts off sympathizing with the demons, and it ends sympathizing with the demons. And it's like, again, it's brilliant in its tactics in getting us to sympathize with demons. But at the end of the day, you're sympathizing with demons who ate the souls of children for 300 years. Now, let's say this was a real story, like which forced marriage is a huge thing. Even in some places to this day, it's a huge thing. And the patriarchy is a really bad thing to this day, in a lot of cases. But again, this is how it's being twisted. This is how it's being manipulated. And that manipulation is, they got me to sympathize and to empathize with these demons that sucked souls for 300 years. And I don't think any amount of bad upbringing will justify that. We're like, okay, it's cool that they've been eating souls for 300 years. Like, it's all good, bro. Like, you see, the patriarchy was making her marry when she didn't want to. She was only 16. It's practically rape. So I get, man, I shouldn't have said that word. Man, there goes the algorithm. But you know what I mean, right? So again, the most amount of truth to slip in Hollywood's weirdness, to slip in the empathizing with the darkness. And that happens a lot, man. That's happening a lot. It happens in almost every movie, trying to sympathize. It downplays the evil. I've said this in my videos for years now, this is why I think there's such a huge push in the mainstream media, mainstream spirituality is basically mainstream media. Like, did you see Hocus Pocus? Talking about crystals and how normalized it was. If you don't think spirituality isn't mainstream by now, you're not paying attention. So this is what the mainstream media does. It sort of pushes this. It wants to blur the line between good and evil, so that it can sort of define good and evil as it wants to. Right? A president by the name of Shmo Shmaiden gave the eulogy for a KKK member that founded his own chapter, that was a leader of his own chapter of the KKK. And his name rhymes with Shmo Shmeidenreiser. Shmo Schmuden. And that's okay, because the way it's framed and the way it's twisted, oh, it's okay, it was in the past, and he changed his ways, and yada, yada, yada. But again, if you have the masses of everyone confused on what good and evil is, if you have movies and Netflix blurring the lines between good and evil and justifying evil because, oh, the bad man was mean when they were younger, so that justifies 300 years of sucking the souls from children. I don't think that's justifiable. Right? Nowhere in Hocus Pocus did they say, all right, they had a bad upbringing, fair, but so did a lot of people. A lot of women were forced into patriarchy, and they didn't bend to the will of the demonic forces and retaliate by becoming demons and killing children for 300 years. Right? A lot of people are put in really terrible situations as children, and they don't turn out to be demons. Nowhere in the movie was that said. The only theme, the only plot, the only framework we had is it began and ended with us empathizing and sympathizing with the demons. I don't know if that's cool. I don't know, man. It was a good movie. I was entertained, and I'll probably put it on again this Halloween season, because you know me and my spooks. But you know, what do you guys think? Are you guys able to see how lines are being blurred, and how the mainstream sort of helps along with the blurry lines of things? I don't know. What? Anywho, my name. If you're just tapping in, my name's Keith. The man of letters, knowledge, information, and hopefully at the very least a bit of entertainment. Thank you guys for hanging out. We might go live tonight, pull some cards, hopefully drop some knowledge, hopefully just have fun and hang with the squad. We're pouring candles. I haven't sold a candle in like 2 months, and all of a sudden I've got like 12 black candle orders. Of course, Hocus Pocus comes out. Everybody wants black candles. Hey, I'm all about it. There's one thing your boy knows how to do, it's ride the wave. If you guys need black candles, we have an Etsy shop. It should be in the description if I didn't take it out. Manor Letters Co. I'll link it somewhere. But yeah. See you guys soon. All right, take it easy.